Morning, everyone. Welcome to Takeover Tuesdays. If this is your first time joining us, let me tell you a little bit about Takeover Tuesdays. This is a segment to connect community and build up small business owners, share about their stories, and just build with each other. For those of you out there that want to start a business or thinking to start a business, this segment could be that extra push or inspiration you need. And if not, if you're in the middle of a business, this is a way that we can connect with each other and just understand the trials and tribulations and kind of come together with that. And I would like to introduce my guest for today, my phenomenal dear friend, Rhainy Clayton-Cole. Good morning, Rhainy.
Morning. Thank you so much for having me, Jessica.
Yes, I'm excited. I always love when I have friends and business owners on here. Like it's a
Yeah,
double
yeah,
double positive.
yeah. That's awesome. Thank you.
So be honest, how's your morning starting out? Everybody always says good, but be honest.
Listen, listen. As a business owner, as a mompreneur, right, as a wife, it's good. It's had its challenges. It's Monday again, and it's Tuesday.
Right, right. I understand that completely. You can have a whole week of Mondays sometimes.
All
That's
right, it's
okay.
all Monday till it isn't, right?
That's okay. We're gonna have fun on here, so you're gonna
Yeah,
enjoy
we
this.
will. Sweet.
Yeah. So we're gonna just get started and
Okay.
start with my favorite part is just tell us a bit about you, your story, how you got to where you're. Oh, before we start, Rainey is a financial coach, and she just helps people get their finances in order and get their life together so that they can build.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. Well, that's kind of a packed question. Well, how I got started was, um, man, I did 5 years in the medical field. And I was going to school for nursing, and I got about 5 classes into nursing school just before nursing school. And I said, you know what? I already have a little bit of debt. I don't want to acquire any more debt. And really, I didn't love what I did at that point. And it was just like, okay, do I really want to continue on, doing this? And I don't love it. And so I switched to airline management thinking, oh, this is going to be it. I'm going to go on great trips. And it was pretty good for a little while, but it was there I realized managing, here in Denver, major hub of an airline, and I managed the customer service department. It was about 120 employees that reported to me. So I looked great on paper, but I didn't love it. And this business actually kind of just fell into my lap. I had just got married, and I was like, God, honey, we don't know how money works, right? Like, what's next? What do we do from here now that we merge our lives together? And so this business found me, and I worked it part time for the last couple of years, and I knew that I wanted a family, and I hadn't had my daughter yet. And when I found out I was pregnant with my daughter, I still stayed at the airlines, used them for their insurance. And then when they said, hey, when are you coming back for your leave? I was like, I'm not, thank goodness, right? And I was able to build a big enough business that I didn't have to return. So here I am, and God, it's good. It's good.
I love it. And I have to say good morning to some of our viewers. Manushka's on here. Oh,
Oh, hey,
she's
Kush.
excited that you're here.
Oh, yay. Excited to be on.
Yes, she's asking about Nola. And
Oh,
Anthony's on. Good morning, Anthony. He's one of our
morning.
regulars. I appreciate you. Danya's on. Good morning. So thank you for tuning in, especially to the people who continually tap into this because I think it's a wealth of information and knowledge and again connection. So if you're tapping in, this is going to benefit you too.
Yeah, it's great.
So tell us a bit about what you do. I know it's loaded. You kind of do an umbrella of things, but go into that a little bit.
Yeah. So what I do is well, let me first start with how I got into it, or what really prompted me, was a little bit of a story before what we do. Was I was about 19 years old, and my mom was living in New York, and I was raised by my dad here in Denver. And I was sending a whole bunch of money back and forth. And finally, I'm like, God, mom, like, I got to get you to move here, right? I'm spending a ton of money by helping facilitate kind of her care. And when I moved her to Colorado, she had had some health challenges, which is why I was raised by my dad. And it was just a little bit more that I could do because remember I told you I had a medical background. And I was 19. I had just moved out, and I was like just trying to figure out college and figure out what I was doing with my life. And I was sending all this money to my mom, and I'm like, okay, well, let me move her here, but I can't take care of her myself, right? Because she requires more help than I could provide, right? And I really just didn't want that headache, to be quite honest. I still wanted to live my life, and so I found myself though, Jessica, with about $5,000 in cash, and had to move her to a facility that could care for her, and she was still too young, but she needed the care like a long-term care facility would provide. And I found myself 19 years old by myself, $5,000 in cash, didn't know anybody in the financial services industry. And I had to dwindle down this little bitty tiny nest egg that she had. And I had to pay for a burial. My mom wasn't even on her deathbed, right? And I had to plan for her death and provide the receipts for Medicaid in order for them to pay for her care. And it was there at the table of this mortuary, right? Bawling my eyes out that I'm like, no family should ever have to go through this, right? And moreover, what about the financial piece? Like, who they were like, oh, are you paying cash? Like, how are you paying when I was putting her in the nurse home? And I'm like, I don't know, how do people pay for this stuff, right? And he said, do you have a long-term care plan for her? And I'm like, oh, a what? Like, I don't even know anybody whose grandma's old enough for this, right, at the time. And I realized, oh, these are things that we actually face, right? And how many times do we come across, and especially in our community, right, where auntie and cousin so and so are taking care of grandma inside of their home, right? And really it shouldn't have to be that way. And although we don't want to do away with our elders and put them in a facility, right? We still shouldn't have to take on that burden. So it took me a lot of years and a lot of years of therapy, to be quite honest, to not be angry and resentful at my mom, at my dad. Like, why didn't you guys plan for this? Why did I have to make the decision? And so when I found this company, I found that that's a part of what we do, right? We have those hard conversations, the long term care questions, right? 70% of Americans that reach over the age of 65 are going to need some form of long term care. And it's like, well, if we had a 70% chance that our home would be burning down, right, we'd probably increase our insurance on our homes. And so that's a piece of what we do is we talk about the long-term care. But I always tell people, we do everything with a dollar sign, with the exception of mortgages, right? And we do the, retirement accounts and life insurance and mutual funds and all that good stuff. And we do have some partnerships with folks that are in the industry that can help with mortgages. And so we can kind of really holistically connect our clients with whatever it is they're needing at the time.
Yes, and that's what I like about what you do is that it's you focus on a variety of financial things instead of just one piece. Because in my opinion, they all kind of connect together.
Yeah, yeah, you're so right about that. Yeah, and a lot of time, like right now, what we're really predominantly seeing is student loans. People are really needing help. They're like, okay, they're in deferment right now because of what's going on with COVID and so on and so forth, and they want people to take advantage of the time that they're not having to make payments. But we've really been able to do some phenomenal things with folks' student loans and get their payments from astronomically high, like $500 a month, $1,000 a month to under $50 a month, and get them forgiven after a certain amount of time. So that's been great. But you're right, it really is a holistic educational approach, because that's what it's about, right? We're already participating in the money game. It's just, are we winning?
Yeah, let's talk about that student loan piece because honey,
Yeah.
Lord knows, we just talked me and you were chatting about this, honey. I got a
Yeah.
lot of student loans between
Yeah.
me and my kids, not happy,
Yeah.
not proud about it.
Yeah.
However, I've been following your post and it's great. I mean, every time I read your post, I'm like, we got to get rolling on. And we're going to get
Yeah.
rolling this week. But
Yep. Yep.
t- talk a bit about how that process works.
Yeah, sure. So what it is so like you're saying, if somebody wants to find me, right? So we do consults. Our consults are free. We kind of just run through, who we are, what we do as a company, and that sort of thing. But the student loan piece looks like this. Um, Really, what we've been mostly seeing is there's like 7 or 8 different ways that someone can qualify for student loan forgiveness that they don't tell you. So we do some intake information. How much loans do you have? Who are they with? How long have you had them? Are you working? If so, for who? What industry are you in? That sort of thing. And then we find a program that's fitted between that. And it's kind of twofold. There's also a portion of the program that has the student loan debt, what I call relief, right, to get your payments down, that addresses the student loan forgiveness piece. And then there's one that specifically works with removing student loans off of your debt. Now, that piece of the program has a money back guarantee. So if you're not satisfied with what's happening within 1 year of you starting the program to try and get that removed off of your credit, they'll give you back your money.
Which is huge, huge, huge,
Yeah,
huge. I mean, you
yeah,
can't, it's pretty much a win-win at that point.
yeah,
You really
yep,
don't have anything to lose.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So where did you, when you began, where did you, how did you start in a new industry? Like what was that process like?
Oh, that's funny. I was like, I don't do well with numbers, right? Like I had to repeat all of my math classes in college at least once. Really, we do all our internal training, and we have like a what they call a ride along program. So you have one of the senior agents in our office, and they ride with you, and they make sure that you're servicing clients because we're talking about people's livelihoods, right? And so they hold your hand in that, and so um, it's really very easy if I'm honest. I mean, it doesn't come without its challenges, right? But it's easy in the sense that who doesn't want a better life for themselves, right? Because that's what it all boils down to is we want to educate people financially and stamp out financial illiteracy. Number one, and number two, it's like who doesn't want to live their life? Who doesn't want to live their dreams, right? And not be confined by money or the lack of understanding, because a lot of times people don't realize, oh God, I can't buy the house because of my debt to income ratio is crazy because of these stupid student loans, right? Or I don't have enough money. And really they do, they're spending it already, right? We see the Amazon, we see the Chick-fil-A, we see, Walmart and that sort of thing. And we just, help them reallocate that. So in that process, it's easy to have conversations with my friends and people that I know and don't know and say, hey, this is what we do. Are you interested or not? And so that's really kind of how I fell into it. And you know how I began, it was because it's just having those conversations, right, with your friends, those things that come up over coffee or networking or whatever, that really opens up the table to have that discussion further, if that answers your question.
It really does. How long would you say on average does the process with you as the coach go? How does that look different for everybody, or is there kind of a standard?
Yeah, great question. It does vary. It's really based on the client, right? And so we don't have a relationship with someone where it's like, hey, tell us all your finances and tell us everything. We'll make recommendations and go forth and prosper, right? It doesn't work like that. So it really is an ongoing relationship, but it is just like any other relationship. It's different, right? So sometimes I have clients that will not make a financial decision without being like, hey, Rainy, can you look at this? What does this look like? Or hey, can you help me read this statement? I don't know how to read it, right? Or is this a good idea or is this not? And so I do have those clients that kind of check in a couple times a month that are just like, hey, can you help guide me? And sometimes I have people that are like, okay, tell me what to do, put it on the list, I'll get it done, hold me accountable, check with me in 3 months, right? And then there's those others that are like, no, every 6 months to make sure I'm knocking out my goals. And then for every client, we do an annual review to make sure, right? Have your goals changed? Has your income changed? Has your debt changed? Is this product that you're in or a recommendation that we made still fitting for you? So each client is different, and I let them choose that, and I make sure that we're clear about that, about what it is they're needing, or if they want us to be smothering and hug you, love you, kiss you, and make sure you're getting your goals knocked out right, or just like, nah, let me go and check in with me yearly.
Yeah, and that goes into my next question is that what sets you apart from others, or what makes you unique? Is that a piece of it?
I think so, but really what it is, and my firm really just as a whole, is a number of things. Is number one, what sets us apart is the financial education, right? We don't say, hey, tell us all your business, and we'll give you a recommendation, and you should do this. We really want a client to understand why, what that means, where they're making their money, where are their risks, really what they want. We really dig with people, right? As a part of our consultations, we talk about those things: dreams, goals, how long, right? How much money they have per month to work towards that. And we really want to know those things because it's really cool at the end, Jessica, to see people like, hey, I'm debt free, right? I had a call last week from a client back east, and she's like, I'm debt free. Oh my God. Well, I got chills thinking about it because that's amazing, you know. And that's one. So we take that financial approach, and we actually have a book, and I'll post it up on I don't have it in front of me, but I'll post it up for you, called How Money Works, Stop Being a Sucker, right? And so uh, they're like 26 bucks on Amazon, but we get them at cost, and I send them out to my clients just because I want them to have the information, right? And so that's one. I think we take the financial literacy approach first, and then really find out what a client needs. But the other thing is that we're called we're non-captive agents. And what that means is that although my particular company holds my license, right, they make sure I'm compliant, they make sure I'm legal, they make sure I'm not selling a client, um, something that's not fitting for them, if that makes sense, right? I'm not selling them an annuity in their 20s, right, or something like that. Um, I don't have any incentive to sell their products, if that makes sense. And so I'm able to go out and shop the market based on whatever a client said is important to them, and really do what's right for that client, that business, or that family.
I love it. I love everything about it. I Manushka has a question. She's
Sure.
asking, what is your most popular service?
It really depends. My most popular service, um, gosh, usually life insurance, because there's some really cool features that can happen with life insurance. You can actually use it to your benefit. There's a particular product that allows you to be your own bank. So a lot of times we have people that utilize those because not only is it just a death benefit and has some long-term care benefits and stuff like that if you should get an illness or something like that. But it's, hey, you put money aside of it and it's growing, growing, growing. And in 5 years, you want to open a business, or you want to go on a 30-day cruise in Europe, or whatever it is, or use your money for whatever you want, and not have to pay penalties for it. So
Very nice. What tell us about other things that you do outside, because I know, are can we bring up right now that you do the notary and
oh gosh, yeah, yeah. Sorry, what was your question? I didn't
well, I
expect
guess
that one.
I'm digging into all the things you do, trying to plug all of them.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, we're actually, my husband and I were actually serial entrepreneurs, and although the finance, how money works company, is our bread and butter. We have a mobile notary business that we've had for, this will be year 5, and so we service all those kind of notary needs and closings on properties, commercial. Our biggest thing right now, since rates are low, have been homes, like residential properties. Um, let's see, my husband has a concealed carry class and firearms self-defense course that we're rolling out, and you guys you'll see that, and you'll be the first one to know. So that's been really awesome, and he's done the class last week. He had in a weekend, he had 20 students, and really, we're firm believers that us as people, and especially in our community, we need to be equipped on all sides, right? Whether that's in your finances, whether that's in debt, whether it's, we have a garden in our yard, right? um, and firearms to protect ourselves, that we're covered all the way around.
Yes, and that's what I love. I can't wait to take the course. I've
Yeah,
been like telling all my people and tagging them.
yeah,
We got
yeah.
to come
Thank
do the
you.
class for sure.
Yeah, thank you. There's one coming this weekend, so I'll roll that out to you. Our next one, hoping
I'm
next
looking.
week.
I'm excited. We have
Yeah,
a couple of more financial questions I want to get to because,
sure.
gosh, it goes so
Okay.
fast, and I know we're running out of
Yeah,
time.
that's okay.
So Manushka says, "Are there tax implications?" And I'm backing up here. She's probably referring to when you were talking about the life stuff, the life insurance.
Yeah, there's not tax implications. That's the beautiful thing. The trick about that is, and we actually call it the Swiss Army knife of financial strategies. And the wealthy people really have a really great understanding of how to use this to their benefit. You're already putting in pre-tax dollars, right? So how it varies is is like something like a 401k or something like that, right? You put money out in in it from your check, let's say, before you even see it, and it's not taxed until it's made its gains and you pulled it out on the end, right? Like 59 and a half, or if you pull it out early, there's a tax implication and an early penalty fee. But with that particular product that I was speaking about, you've already put in your taxes, you've already been taxed once, you're not taxed when you take it out.
Yes, very nice. Thank you for answering that because Manushka says that is correct. That was her question. We Danya says, what would you tell people who are ashamed about their financial situation and yield in getting help?
Yeah, wow. That's we actually see that quite a bit. And here's the thing. I feel like I have a different approach with people. It's really a conversation. So if somebody wanted to start up with me, and what I like to tell my clients is like, look, there's no shame, right? The shame should come if you don't seek help, right? And it's just for me, it's they're just numbers, right? It's not a good thing, it's not a bad thing. It numbers just are what they are, right? And I think somebody who's ashamed, if wanted to see help, I definitely will open myself up. If somebody wants to say, hey, in my inbox, I want to sit down for a consultations, or consultations are free, and we have that conversation there. And Yeah, I hope that answered that question.
Yeah. So I definitely don't want to miss out on telling folks where to
Yeah,
reach out to you. So I want to type that in the comments before I forget.
yeah,
Where
yeah.
what's the easiest way to get a hold of you and make an appointment?
Facebook has been my quickest reaction. Just my Facebook name. Rainy is my first name. Rhainy Clayton-Cole. You can also find me. I can give you my telephone number, 720-384-8569. You're welcome to call me. It's better to text just because I've been so crazy busy. I'm literally like booked up almost to the end of September. Um,
Woohoo!
yeah, yeah, I'm so super grateful.
That's always
Super
a
grateful.
good thing. That
Yeah, 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 yeah. So they're welcome to reach out there. I have a website, howmoneyworks.com/Cole, Cole.
Okay.
I'm looking at your
And for
question.
some reason, Rainey, your oh, there you go, Manushka. Thank you, Manushka. She's on
Okay,
it. I
sweet.
love her.
Thank you.
I was trying to tag your name and it wasn't
Yeah,
popping up. So thank
thank
you.
you, sir. Sure.
Love you,
So,
could.
go ahead.
uh so okay, we got your website number and oh, what about the book? Let's talk about the book.
Oh, yeah. So sweet. How Money Works. Stop being a sucker. This is a really great read, Jessica, and yours is coming in the mail on my next distribution. But what I love about this is it was written for a fifth grade level, and it's conversations between these characters that talk about the different concepts, right? So this one is you're a sucker, right? The realities of things. They talk about compound interest, the high cost of waiting to look at retirement, right? The rule of 72. And so what I love about that is, you know, that it's this conversation is comprehensive. I actually read it to Nola. We call it our money book. And so awesome, fine, awesome, awesome. If there is somebody that would like a book, I'd be happy to send it to them. During our conversations and that sort of thing. But yeah, phenomenal read. But let me tell you what's funny though. I forgot to tell you why it's called Being a Sucker. Just something for everyone, our listeners, to think about is they were having a hard time naming the book, and the history of the authors are Steve Siebold is like the modern day Napoleon Hill, right? So he interviewed like over 200 self-made millionaires, and they weren't like movie stars or something like that. They were people like in the business world and that sort of thing, right? And just really interviewed them about their habits and their processes and their mindset around money, right? Because that's really where we dig also, right? I want to know why a client spends the way that they spend so that we can replace that habit. But they called it Stop Being a Sucker because they found that when they were going into the banks and institutions, that they were finding that there's a bowl of candy next to the customer on the other side. And all of the banks and financial services were filled with dumb suckers. And they said that that was really auto-suggestive to serve your clients and your customers something that was calling them dumb. So
That's
stop being a
deep.
trucker.
I'm gonna have to think on that one. That's pretty deep.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah,
Very interesting.
yeah,
Huh. Well, thanks for sharing that tidbit.
yeah,
So, I
sure.
mean, yeah, gosh, you have offered so much of a wealth of knowledge. If you don't tap into Rainy, you're missing out. That's all I'm going to say. Because,
Thank you.
I mean, to me, finances is legacy. And without getting your finances in order, how can you create legacy? You can't. So, it's
Yeah,
really
you
difficult.
can. Yeah.
So,
Um, Another thing, to go back to someone's question, they asked about what would they suggest. The other thing I really want people to know and think about, and just putting that out there, and it's not to knock the other institutions or whoever else is out there in the financial industry, we don't charge for our services. And that's the other thing that I love. And so when people, to answer the question that was asked earlier about like, should you be embarrassed? It's like, no, you're not going to pay for a consultation, right? And so the other places, if you don't have $250,000 in liquid cash to spend, or you don't have 500 to $5,000, they charge for what we call financial strategies, right? Which is really a cool process. They don't even service you; they ship you off to a 1-800 number and tell you good luck. So yeah, please feel free. I mean, it's just a matter of scheduling the time.
yeah, I mean, and who can beat that? Again, you're not losing anything. If anything, you're going
Yeah,
to gain something and take away. The least you can do is walk
yeah,
out just
yeah.
knowing what you already know. Yeah,
Yep,
I agree.
exactly.
And I think to your point, when once we get real about our finances and let go of that shame or whatever comes with it, I know it's tough. The world just opens up. You're able to
Yeah.
get a hold of everything and get it organized, and then everything just usually blossoms.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
It's great.
Gosh, Rainy, I wish I could go on and on with you about this topic because this is
Yeah,
so critical. Like I said, for
yeah,
legacy and building. And you talked about your daughter earlier, and
yeah,
if I could stress, you cannot start soon enough. I mean,
yeah. Yep.
Nola's gonna have it all down by like 4.
Thank you. It's definitely a conscious effort. Can you guys imagine though, like where you would be personally if your parents told you different things about money, right? That maybe there wasn't a negative connotation behind money, right? There's not enough. How are we going to pay this? No, you can't get that because I can't afford it, right? What would that be like if they had a spirit or a mindset of abundance, right? And that there is enough and that money's good and that people that have money are not bad. It's just a tool, right? It's just how you use it. So that's what I encourage. But just I'd love to follow up with you. And if we have any more, in-depth questions about finances or something like that, if I can help or your listeners would be interested in hearing that, I'd love to be on. And it's been an honor. Thank you.
Yes, no, it's been an honor to have you, and I can definitely have you back because this subject there's again, you can never get enough information, so we can definitely have those ongoing conversations
Yeah,
for sure.
let's do it.
And if I could just say on an ending note, Danya would love to refer clients to you. I
Oh,
know her
sweet.
personally. I will connect you to. See, this is what this is
Okay.
about. I will definitely
Yeah.
connect you to offline because you're both beautiful people and who are doing some
Oh, thank
phenomenal
you.
things. So I would be glad to do that. And
Thank you.
is there any parting words you want to say before we sign off?
Um, Let me think about that for a second. Yes, I mean there's no better time than to start than now, right? And even if people are doing well and you feel like you're doing well, or maybe you don't have that much debt, or maybe you're not in student loan debt, you don't have to be sick to get better, right? And we don't need to be in a bad place to make sure that you're on track, right? And so that's what I would say. And really, I'll share some books and stuff with you for people to really get to dig in. Quantum Success is really a great book to take a look at. To really think about where your mind frame is around money and wealth and legacy building and abundance, because it's all those things tie together with being a business owner.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much,
Thank
Rainey,
you.
for sharing
No,
your
it's my
wealth
pleasure.
of knowledge and your journey and your story. And I'd just like to say, as always, for those of you going through different things, COVID is an ongoing thing. We've got race relations. There's still a lot going on. And although there's so much positivity out there, and we definitely want to share that, there's also a lot of challenges and tribulations. So I just want to acknowledge those, and anyone facing those out there, thinking about you, sending good vibes. And please stay well, stay inspired, and we will see you next week on Takeover Tuesday.
Yes.
Thank you for joining
Thanks,
us, everyone.
Jessica. My pleasure. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.